last 48 hours, Third Echelon has learned that a rogue element within the Russian military has obtained a small number of advanced warheads and is preparing to sell them on the black market.
Clean up trash for the Ruskies now?
You're not cleaning up trash for the Ruskies. You're helping us maintain regional stability.